Staying on? I bet. What's good, y'all? I'm back with another video. Today, we're gonna go over the top 25 players under 25 in the NBA currently. I made this video 2 years ago. I really enjoyed it. And with the NBA right now, we got some new faces on the rise, some faces who are still going crazy as well. We're gonna go ahead and talk about some of these players where I think they rank right now in the NBA, all under 25. Now, you watching the video, you're probably not gonna like my rankings at all. You're probably gonna say I don't know basketball at all either. However, I don't care. These are my opinions, and I'm gonna tell you why I have these players where they are. And if you don't like that, let me know in the comment section. And if that still doesn't work for you, I don't know what to tell you, bro. At this point, it is what it is, dog. But before we get into the video, let me give you my criteria. So obviously, I don't have any rookies. The rookies haven't played a single game yet. I gotta see them play. So no rookies, no Cooper Flag. I know, no rookies. This is not a projections-based list. So I'm not projecting where players will be midway through the season or at the end of the year. This is where I think they stand right now, going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. And lastly, most importantly, because last time when I made this video 2 years ago, y'all were in the comment section like, where is this guy? Where is this player? Everyone on this list doesn't turn 25 before the NBA tip-off in October. So if a player turns 25 within the next few weeks, they're not on the list. Everyone on this list, when the season tips off, is under 25. So, hope that explains it. Besides all that, let's get right into it, bro. At 25, I have Tari Eason from the Houston Rockets. What the Rockets did well last year is beat you in every hustle statistic, rebound the ball proficiently, and also play physical defense, and that's exactly what Tari Eason brings on the court. When we look at Tari Eason's game, even though we only played 57 games last year, averaged 12.7 rebounds, this is all off the bench. This is a guy that is the epitome of being a glue guy for teams that are trying to compete and win championships. And with the Rockets and what they've added in this year, Tari Eason's gonna have a bigger role on this roster, specifically at what he does well, which is, like I said before, be a physical hound, rebound the ball at a great level. If he improves his dance still catch and shoot from the corner, it's gonna make everything easier for them on offense while having a guy that does a lot for you on the defensive end as well. At 24, I have Jalen Suggs from the Orlando Magic. Now, Jalen Suggs last year only played 35 games, but he did average 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and also had 1.5 steals as well, while shooting 41% from the field. Jalen Suggs, dealing with injuries last year, ultimately affected the Orlando Magic and what they wanted to do last year with their injuries with Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. But Jalen Suggs is one of the best young perimeter defenders in the league right now, and I think what he brings to Orlando Magic and their identity as a defensive squad is important to have Jalen Suggs, and you've seen it in this game. I think going forward this upcoming season, especially with the addition of Desmond Bane and the improvements of Franz and Paolo, Jalen Suggs is primed to be another important role player for the Orlando Magic. This is a guy that's going to be a hound for guys to deal with on the defensive end, and if he can at least up his scoring and his efficiency, this is another issue that you're gonna deal with the Orlando Magic. At 23, I have Brandon Miller from the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Brandon Miller had a really good rookie season 2 years ago. Last season, he only played 27 games, but he did average 21 points per game, added 5 rebounds, and shot 40% from the field, but he did shoot 35% from 3. Now, I think Brandon Miller is gonna have a very important role this year for the Charlotte Hornets. I think the Hornets are in a position where they need to find out what they have on their roster, what the question marks are with LaMelo Ball. But I truly do believe what I've seen from Brandon Miller over the last 1.5 seasons, this is a guy that I think can be an important player for the future for the Charlotte Hornets. I know his efficiency went down in his second season, but with only 27 games played, that's not enough to really factor in what he really can do. And I think this upcoming year is going to be super important in what he provides for the Charlotte Hornets. And I think if he performs well or turn into the guy that we saw in Oklahoma, then Charlotte's gonna have a team that has hope. Because I ain't gonna lie, Charlotte, I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. Charlotte, shout out to B Miller. Shout out to B Miller. At 22, I have Cason Wallace from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this is the first player where I truly believe needs to be talked about more. Cason Wallace is one of the best bench players in the game right now. Now a champion, but when you look at what he's done, last year he played 68 games, around 8 points per game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, but nearly averaged 2 steals per game coming off the bench and shot 35% from 3, nearly 50% from the field. This is a guy that you would love to have on your team because he does the little things that many people don't want to do. I know he's not going to have a game where he might drop 30 on you. This is a guy that can shoot the 3 ball, can play very good defense, and on top of that, I ain't gonna lie, he got some sneaky bounce. Like, I seen him put some guys in the rim. So, hey, OKC, they got a lot of great young talent, and Cason Wallace is one of those players. At 21, I have Jared McCain from the Philadelphia 76ers, bro. Jared McCain, rookie season last year, even though it was cut short due to injury, he was hooping. Looked like he was gonna be the next guy next to Tyrese Maxey to be the future for Sixers basketball, and I think he still will be. Injuries just cut, injuries suck. Having Jared McCain back and what he provides next to Tyrese Maxey, I'm really excited because this guy was scoring the ball at an efficient level and looked very comfortable in his rookie season. I think people forget that. Like, this is a guy that could have won Rookie of the Year if he was healthy. I think he was the runaway favorite at one point, averaged 15 points per game, and shot 46% from the field and nearly 39% from three. So again, Jared McCain, solid player, and I really like what he provided last year. At 20, I have Deni Avdija. Now, I know a lot of people don't talk about Deni Avdija going into his 6th NBA season, and I think he's not really talked about enough, but Deni Avdija is one of the really good two-way players that we have in the game right now. Last year, 72 games played, 17 points per game, 7 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, and shot 47% from the field and nearly shot 37% from three. Now, like I said before, Portland was not a great team last year, and they really didn't get talked about, but Deni was a player that, if you really looked at the advanced stats and the analytics, he's a really good player on both sides of the ball. And I think with Portland this upcoming year, and I think they've improved in sense where adding in some vets, and I think the future for Portland is, I don't think they're the, a top 10 team going into the season, but I think with the young guys that they have and the improvement of Deni maybe going into the next season, we'll see what Portland looks like. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you what the future holds for them, but I think what I saw from Deni last year, especially on a team where they didn't get talked about enough, he had a really good season. At 19, I have Stephon Castle from the San Antonio Spurs. Now, we're talking about a guy who was the Rookie of the Year last year. And I know a lot of people talk about his game and say he didn't wow you, but I think Stephon Castle, what he does well is that he makes the right play, and his game is very mature for where it is at right now. We're talking about a champion back at UConn, and when I seen his game last year, he doesn't need the ball to feel the impact of what he's doing on the game. His efficiency wasn't the greatest, and that's gonna get better, especially as a rookie. Like that's always gonna get better as a rookie, and I think he's shown signs to improve in that area. I think his defensive prowess, especially next to a guy like Victor Wembanyama, and even without him, he's a very good defender. I believe he has all the chops to be a secondary playmaker next to a guy who runs the point like a De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper. So I don't want to say he's just a glue guy, but I feel like the potential what Stephon Castle can be next to the guys that are there right now, it's up there. And I think what we saw last year with Stephon Castle is he can make the right play. He doesn't need the ball necessarily to make the right play, and he doesn't force the initiative to where he can lose you games. And I really like that about a player, especially in their rookie season. And I really enjoy what Stephon Castle did. At 18, I have Josh Giddey of the Chicago Bulls. Last year, he had an impressive season, averaged 16 points per game, 8 rebounds, close to 7 assists, had an improvement in his efficiency, and shot 35%, nearly 37% from three last season. Now, he just got paid. Congrats to him. And I know a lot of people are questioning if the Bulls should have paid him, if they should go ahead and figure out what the future of the team is. Josh Giddey did have an improvement in his game last year. Did play a factor in the Bulls getting to the play-in tournament, even though we all know like they did get bounced out. Like it wasn't that crazy. But how he was traded from OKC, it looked like he was gonna be bottom feeder, fodder, whatever. He used that, had an impressive season. The Bulls have a guy who they can either, build around or possibly flip. And I still think that Josh Giddey, again, with what he did last year and the escape of the entire league, like, you gotta give him his credit. I got Josh Giddey right now at 18. At 17, I have Jalen Green of the Phoenix Suns. It sounds crazy to say Phoenix Suns because he's been a Rocket for like the entire time since he's been here. But we all know, biggest trade of the summer, Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, everyone else to the Phoenix Suns. And we talk about Jalen Green and we talk about the playoff run that he had last year, that it was really rough. Jalen Green is still a very talented player in the NBA, and I know people love to give him his slack. I get it, but he's truly a talented player. Last year, played all 82 games. He averaged 21 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 42% from the field, and shot around 35% from three. When he is on fire and he is consistent, he is one of the best young talents. I'm not even gonna say scorers, talents in the game right now. The issue obviously is consistency. But what he has done over the past few years, I gotta have him at 17. And I think with the new setting in Phoenix, next to Devin Booker setting him up, hopefully this can get Jalen Green comfortable and we can see him be consistent over a long period of time, because that's the only thing that is holding him back. But he's still one of the best young scorers in the game right now. At 16, I have Ausar Thompson from the Detroit Pistons. Now, Ausar is an athletic freak. I could talk about the Thompson twins for like all day. Last year, you saw how important he was to the team, averaging nearly 2 steals per game and still shot 53% from the field. Ausar Thompson, he may not wow you with a scoring game, and that might be the year where he actually takes that leap. But what he provides on the defensive end, rebounding the basketball, I love everything Ausar brings. I want to see his improvement, being more comfortable handling the rock, even though he does play next to Cade Cunningham, was one of the best young playmakers in the game. And of course, the efficiency shooting the ball. But Ausar Thompson does everything else that you want from a young player on the defensive end. And I really am excited for what he does this upcoming year in Detroit, because if he takes a leap, Detroit is talking about some major things. Like Detroit, y'all might be nice. At 15, I have Dyson Daniels of the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Dyson Daniels had a phenomenal historic season last year. We all know second in defensive player of the year voting. He averaged 3 steals per game, which is kind of crazy when you really think about it. Like, bro, that was pretty tough. That was pretty tough. Again, Dyson Daniels, really good season. Averaged 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. And like I said before, led the league in steals and averaged 3 steals per game. His on-ball creation may not be where you want it to be, but I think as a transition player, when it comes to him cutting in spaces, I'm excited to see how he performs this year, especially with a healthy Atlanta Hawks squad that's adding Kristaps Porzingis. You still have a guy that can perform on the offensive end and even be better on the defensive end as well. At 14, I have Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Jalen Johnson's season was cut short last year, only played 36 games, but my goodness, he was an important player for the Atlanta Hawks. He averaged close to 19 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, and had 5 assists as well, while shooting 50% from the field. He was an important player for the Atlanta Hawks, while adding in 1.6 steals per game and a block per game. All of his stats were career highs, and he was honestly going to have a really good season, and possibly could have been a most improved player voting that last season. He's been a player that doesn't get talked about a lot from the 2021 draft class, but when I tell you Jalen Johnson is one of those really underrated gems in the league right now, expect him to have a very good 2025-2026 NBA season, because he is on pace to break out. At 13, I have Scottie Barnes, the former Rookie of the Year of the 2021 draft class. Now, I feel like Scottie Barnes has gone under the radar a lot, especially being in Toronto. There hasn't been a lot of things going on in Toronto the last 3 years, haven't made the playoffs, but Scottie Barnes is a diamond in the rough there, and you can see it in his game. Last year, averaged 20 points per game, 7 rebounds, and was top 25 in rebounds and assists last season. Still averaged over a block and a steal per game, and shot 44% from the field. Now, the efficiency was the main issue that we were worried about. Didn't look good, but I still think that with Scottie Barnes, we're talking about a guy that can do a multitude of things and be versatile enough to help his team win. The roster on Toronto isn't the greatest, and I don't want to take that away from Scottie Barnes, because I still look at his game and I look at the fours in today's game, the fours that can put the ball on the floor, be a playmaker for their teams. And I think with adequate offensive talent that doesn't allow him to have to be so good offensively for his team to have a chance to win, you're going to see him thrive. And hopefully Toronto can do that. I know the roster doesn't look that great, but Scottie Barnes is still a very good player, and I know people haven't talked about him enough last year with having a down year, but still a very good player in my eyes. At 12, I have Franz Wagner from the Orlando Magic. Now, Franz is, I don't want to say he's underrated no more, because it's been 4 seasons. If you don't know about Franz Wagner, then you're really just under a rock at this point. There are times he's the best player in the Orlando Magic. At times. I know he's not, but there are times he has been the best player in the Orlando Magic. And I know last year he dealt with some injuries that affected the Orlando Magic season, but he averaged 24 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds, nearly 5 assists, shot 46% from the field, and the 3-point percentage wasn't the best. I know, you get it. Orlando last year offensively, y'all boys were struggling, man. I ain't gonna lie, it was bad. But back to Franz. Franz, I love his game. He's a big playmaker, loves to get guys involved, very crafty in how he scores. He reminds me of like a bigger Manu Ginobili. If the 3-point shot is falling, this is a guy that's going to be very hard to deal with. I really enjoy watching his game, because it doesn't seem like he forces the initiative. He has an idea of what he wants to do, and I would honestly say if that jump shot, I know we can hit the jump shot, but if it becomes just more efficient, this is just a tough guy to guard. He's a really good player. I don't want to say underrated, because I feel like I'm cutting him short because he's bigger than that. Like, if you don't know about this guy, you're living under a rock, bro. You're living under a rock. At 11, I got LaMelo Ball. Yes, LaMelo Ball. So LaMelo only played 47 games last year. A lot of that was due to injury. LaMelo didn't play the entire season, and I do think the Charlotte Hornets dealt with injuries the entire year. And on top of that, it just was a really rough year for LaMelo Ball. And I want to put him higher on this list. And I know, like, I'll say this, when LaMelo Ball is cooking, top 5 for sure in the NBA under 25. But he's only played 50 games twice in his entire career, which was his first 2 seasons. And we haven't seen him play more than that since. He's dealt with injuries. And it reminds me of like when I made this video 2 years ago, it felt like the Zion effect, where it was like, Zion is one of them dudes, he's just not available. And it's unfortunate, and I don't want to take away from the man's game, because LaMelo Ball is a very good playmaker and a very good passer. He can shoot the ball, he can score the ball. We've seen him play well. When Charlotte had a very good team of good vets his first 2 seasons, they were a team that could make the playoffs, and they made the play-in. But I really just got to see LaMelo Ball on the court, and I know he's a talented player. 11 sounds crazy, but this is where I have him right now. And I know for a fact someone's gonna tell me that I'm crazy for it. Hey man, I know, it's me. At 10, I got Chet Holmgren of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, Chet last season, NBA champion. Shout out to him. He only played 32 games, 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and averaged 2.2 blocks per game as well, while nearly shooting 38% from 3. Chet Holmgren is the center that you make on 2K. he is a player that is the epitome of what the game is changing into when it comes to the big man. I think the only issue that I have right now is the fact that I can put him above a lot of players. I think he's a top 5 defender in the league right now. And I think going into this season, he's going to be in conversations for winning the Defensive Player of the Year award if he's healthy. I think it's just the game's missing most of the season. I don't want to take anything away from him. This is a guy that is literally a true rim protector that can also stretch the floor for you. So you guys let me know where you think he should be. If he should be higher, you know, that's what the comment section is for. Or Twitter, where you can, you know, disrespect me. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, you do it. At 9, Amen Thompson from the Houston Rockets. Now, Amen Thompson had a very, very great season last year. Coming off the bench and becoming a full starter for the Houston Rockets, he was an important role in why they had a great season, why they were the 2nd seed in the West. 69 games played, 14 points per game, 8 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.3 blocks, and shot 55% from the field. I honestly believe when it comes to defenders in the league, I won't say rim protectors, I'll say solely defenders on the perimeter. I think Amen Thompson might be the best right now. If not 1, he's at least 2, in my honest opinion. I think he's that good. Like when I think I spoke about this when I spoke about Ausar. We're talking about a guy who doesn't really have a jump shot. Like, he's not a guy that can rely on his jump shot. It's just being savvy with his cuts, being a guy that can be in the right spot, specifically with a guy like Sengun who works in the post and rolling to the basket. And I mean, he's hit some mid-range shots and some 3-point shots over the season last year, and then he improved in that area. You look at him in Thompson's game, and he's just a very, very high IQ player. And you look at adding Kevin Durant, like Alperen Sengun, who's also going to improve. I will say this player that can be most improved while still being one of the best perimeter defenders in the league right now. Not even just perimeter, honestly, defenders in the league, period. So one of the best defenders in the league, made all NBA first, all defensive first team. I really like what I see from Amen Thompson. And again, I believe he's an X factor for the Rockets. You got to be excited for what you see with Amen Thompson for the Houston Rockets in the future. So at number 8, I have Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now again, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, I ain't gonna lie, he had a very good 3rd year. Talking about being all NBA 3rd team, all defensive 2nd team, all-star, and NBA champion. Like, we're talking about this is in your 3rd season. I mean, he did it all. So even with the injuries, and I think why I have Jalen Williams over Chet Holmgren. I know some OKC fans will say Chet is better. I think the games played really held me back for Chet. But for Jalen Williams, with the injuries, when you had Hartenstein out early in the year, you had Chet out early in the year, you had him playing center at times, and he was holding his own, being a great defender as well. Like, he was that great defensively. And I don't think that gets talked about enough with Jalen Williams. He is one of the best versatile defenders in the league right now, while still being an efficient scorer next to possibly the best scorer in the game in SGA. Because 2 years before, when they lost in that series against the Mavericks, and it was who can step up next to SGA, it was Jalen Williams this season. And he did that. And now they're champions. So you got to give him credit. He improved in his game again. And I know people are going to call him Robin next to SGA, but this is a guy who I believe if he was not in OKC and he was on his own in some random team, he would still be getting a lot of attention because he's just that good. So yeah, you feel me? I'm with you, J-Dub. I'm with you. At number 7, I have Evan Mobley of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Defensive Player of the Year. I believe Evan Mobley is true rim deterrent, rim protector, can anchor your defense. And I know he plays with guys like Jared Allen, but he is just that good defensively. We don't talk about his game offensively because he has made improvements offensively. Feel like he's gotten more comfortable being able to take the ball on his own, attack weaknesses. He's become much stronger. I think with Cleveland, especially with how the Eastern Conference looks right now, the next X factor for the team is literally Evan Mobley. Like if he can get up to like 24, 25 points per game while being an amazing defender and being 1st team all defense again, a lot of things that he can do on the offensive end that doesn't get talked about just because he's so great defensively. Evan Mobley can do that. At number 6, I have Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic. Now, Paolo Banchero's 3rd season was interesting because I feel like he started off kind of up and down, got injured, came back and went on a tear. Like, he was going crazy in that second half of the season when he returned from injury. Last year, like I said, only 46 games played, but averaged 26 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, nearly 5 assists per game, and shot 45% from the field and 32% from 3. Now, like I've mentioned about all the Orlando Magic players so far, they did deal with a lot of offensive issues and consistency. Came to 3-point shooting, they were one of the worst teams on the 3-point shooting, one of the worst teams when it came to 3-point efficiency. It hinders when your 2 best players are not great 3-point shooters, so everyone else has to fill in that role, and they did not get that with the signing of KCP, who could not provide that for them last season. He reminds me of Pistons Blake Griffin, which is going to sound, bear with me, this is not a disrespect to him, but when I look at his game, I look at it as complete. When I look at Pistons Blake Griffin when he was on the Pistons, I'm talking about a guy that can go ahead and create his own shot, that can go create for others, and does it in an efficient manner. I think Paolo Banchero is on that wave, and I think that when we look at what he's done well and where he needs to work on, the additions of what the Orlando Magic have added this year are going to help him in that area. And I also think just being healthy is perfect for him, because when he is healthy, he's shown that he's one of the best young players in the game right now. So yeah, I know last season he dealt with a lot of injuries, but going into the next season, there's a possibility he can make his way up this list if he stays healthy, because we've seen him play well, and the Orlando Magic are going to need it. They're going to need it. So now we're in our top 5, and there's a name I haven't said yet, and I know some of you have been saying there's no way he did it. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I already did it. At 5, I have Alperen Sengun. This is where we're going to have to stop for a second. Last season, 19 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists on 49% shooting from the field. When I look at Alperen Sengun's game, and I compare it to all of the other bigs in the game right now, Alperen Sengun for the last 2 seasons as the sole Houston Rockets center. We didn't have Steven Adams till last year. He has improved so much on the defensive end. The Rockets have been a top 10 defense over the past 2 seasons under Ime Udoka, and Alperen Sengun has been their lone big. I have to give credit where credit is due, because not only does he do it on the defensive end, I have to give him his props on the offensive end as well. The main gripe people will bring up is his field goal percentage last season, which did take a dip. But when I compare what he is asked to do on the offensive end compared to many other bigs in his class, when I talk about everyone else, I personally believe he does more than what the role is asked for many other bigs in his class. I think the only person I'll be real with you right here, guys. I think the only player that I can see is Paolo Banchero moving up ahead of him. I truly believe, if you want to argue with me with that in the comment section, we could do it on Twitter. His ability as a passer, his ability as a playmaker for his team, his ability to work in the low post, his ability on the defensive end as well. What he's asked to do for his team is much more than many other young bigs in the NBA right now, and the Rockets have seen success over that over the past 2 years. This is my hot take, and I know some of y'all are gonna hate it, and that's fine. That's fine. How crafty he is as an offensive player, how crafty he is as a playmaker and passer for his team, being a sole center for a team that's anchoring a top 10 defense over the past 2 years. I truly believe he is one of the best young bigs in the NBA. And if you don't agree with me, bro, I want to tell you, sorry, I want to tell you. At 4, I have Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Tyrese Maxey was a player that dealt with injuries last year. The Philadelphia 76ers, injuries was just the entire team. Joel Embiid was out, Paul George was out, Jared McCain was out. Tyrese Maxey was out here trying to carry this team. I believe he tried. And last year, he averaged 26 points per game, 6 assists per game, and shot nearly 44% from 3. Did have a down year in efficiency, but Tyrese Maxey, when healthy, I believe is like one of the best scoring guards in the game right now. Super quick, super fast, can shoot the lights out of the ball. And I think with the team he was on last year, it just definitely did not perform well, but I think his numbers still were fine, especially with what he was playing with the entire year. I think that, again, when I look at the Eastern Conference and where we're headed right now with so many guys being out, so many teams having different windows, Tyrese Maxey is going to be a guy that's going to be in all-star contention again. I would love to see what he does this upcoming year. Maybe add to his game more of a playmaker, more of a passer, because I think they're going to need that. I don't know if Joel Embiid is going to be healthy to start the season, but Tyrese Maxey, again, I mean, he's going into his 6th season. I think he's one of the best young guards in the league right now, so I have him at number 4. At 3, I have Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons. Last year, he had a very, very good season. 26 points per game, 9 assists per game, 47% from the field, and nearly 36% from 3. I mean, he was a playmaking savant for the Detroit Pistons. And you just saw that he was the best player on that team and one of the best players in the league that year. And there was a time period people were talking about him being a top 10 player in the league at the very moment. That's how good he was. And that's how good he was for the team, especially on a team the year before that had a 28-game losing streak. First 2 seasons, people were questioning if the efficiency, if the turnovers, if he can score. Like, he really put it all together this last year as an all-star. And you gotta give him credit. The Detroit Pistons reaped the benefits of his improvement. And I think going into this next season with playoff experience, it's only gonna get better. And I'm excited to see how he does. We're talking about a guy who can play make, two-way versatility. This is a guy I think can get to 30. I mean, that's how crafty he is as a playmaker and a finisher and as a scorer. So I'm very excited to see Cade Cunningham. Yeah, Detroit is going to be a problem for sure, especially if he makes that leap that many people think he will do. At number 2, we have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So obviously, Ant Edwards had a very, very impressive season last year. Last year led the league in threes, led the league in threes made. Like, I don't know what got into bro. Bro became Stephen Curry for like a part of the year. Averaged nearly 28 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 45% from the field, and nearly 40% from 3. And this was kind of, I mean, we knew Anthony Edwards has the bounce. We knew he could score. We knew how aggressive and physical he can be, but the 3-point shooting leap that he had really put his game in a different stratosphere. And I think if that continues, that's only going to make him much of a better player. And as a 3-point shooter, it only opens up the game for him to get to the basket, and we know what he can do when he gets under the basket. We've seen it. Look, ain't nothing to talk about. I think this is the year where players historically put it all together. After all those experiences of losing in the conference finals and the improvements of adding a 3-point into the game, we're seeing Anthony Edwards grow as a player over the last few years, and it's very interesting and great to see. So, I mean, we all know how great Anthony Edwards is. I ain't got to say too much. You guys see the commercials. I mean, he got the best shit sneakers right now too, so I ain't gonna lie. I need those. Lastly, number 1. I think we kind of knew who this was going to be. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs. 46 games played last year, 24 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3.7 assists, nearly 4 blocks a game, shot 47% from the field and nearly 35% from 3. But this was the runaway defensive player of the year award. Victor Wembanyama is that great. There's not really much for me to say to talk about this man. What I really will say about Victor Wembanyama is that he is on the precipice this season, if healthy, to really become the guy that many people think he was going to become when he enters the league. Like, again, this is a guy that can give you 24 and 11 in his second season and 4 blocks per game. This guy is an issue. And I think with the San Antonio Spurs, the 3-guard lineup with Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper is interesting. But I'm more excited to see the improvement of Victor Wembanyama as a player this season. I ain't gonna lie, he's been on some kumbaya stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what he's been doing, but he seems like he's locked in. Historically, the 3rd year for these generational talents that we talk about, like MJ, LeBron James, this is the season where we see he's for real. And I know it sounds cliche, obviously. There's not really much to say about him, but he is the best player under 25. This is kind of obvious. If you didn't think that, you need to go watch hockey, bro, or some stuff. So, I don't know. But that concludes my top 25 under 25. I know it went kind of long. I didn't want it to, but I mean, you let me know what you think. If you enjoy the list, if you think I made some mistakes, if you think I'm stupid, let me know. Let me know under the comment section. If not, let me know on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter as well. I'm down to talk about it. I want to debate you guys. I know I've been gone for a minute making videos. I'm excited to be back, bro. I'm really trying to get back into it, and I have content already ready for you guys. So I love doing this, man. Even if you think my list sucks, tell me it sucks. I'm cool with that, bro. I really want to hear what y'all think about it, man. This is what makes it fun talking basketball with people. So until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Videos coming soon. But until next time, I just said that. Yeah, that's how I know I'm rusty. Stay on beat.